Hi, my name is Eric Peralta and I'm from Team ACES. Team ACES and I will discuss Samsung's unethical behaviors and its practices. Samsung was founded in March 1st, 1938. The owner and founder of Samsung is Lee Boying Chu. Samsung means three stars. The reason Lee chose three stars was because his vision was for his company to become powerful and everlasting like real stars. The three stars logo remained up until 1993 when the current logo was introduced. Lee Boying-Chu was born in 1910 and later died on November 1987 due to lung cancer. He was only 77 when he passed away. Lee Boyong-Chu is a South Korean businessman and one of the most successful businessmen in the world. The way Samsung started was by a trucking business. It would move goods all over the country and to other countries as well. The company was based in Seoul in 1947. It was one of the largest trading companies when the Korean War started by 1950. With the expansion of the North Korean army taking over Seoul, Lee was forced to relocate his business to Busan. Samsung then entered the electronic business on 1969. Their first electronic was a black and white television. After this company then started to blow up in the late 1970s and early 1980s. During the 1990s, when Samsung started its expansion, it started getting major backlash and scandals that they would bribe people. During the 2000s, that was when Samsung came out with its Galaxy phones and other series as well, which became the company's most praised electronic item. With all the phones recently coming out, Samsung started to get major backlash and recently with its battery cases and its employment. Team Aces will discuss Samsung and the battery cases of how their batteries blow up and how they treat their employees. We will also be discussing how Apple, another huge electronic company, has more ethical behaviors than Samsung and how they treat consumers and workers. Samsung is one of the biggest companies in the world, worth billions of dollars, while it still practices unethical behaviors. Samsung has all the money in the world to be ethical and to treat their employees well.
Thank you, Eric, for the great introduction of Samsung. Now we'll be transitioning into the unethical behaviors of Samsung. In July of 2012, Apple argued that Samsung has been gaining profit by the sales of its Galaxy devices, which Cupertino claims that copies look and feel of iPhone and iPad. The largest chunk of Apple demands, about $2 billion, relates to Samsung profits on products that had copied on Apple design patents. Apple also kindly broke out what patents Samsung had copied: the overscroll bounce patent, the scrolling API patent, the tap to zoom patent, and the use of Apple's design patent. On another note, the exploding phones, which caused in August 2016, Samsung unveiled a new phone, which was the Samsung Galaxy Note 7, which sold at a fast pace and with great reviews, up until many videos were uploaded by consumers of their phones burning and in many cases exploding. Within the 2 weeks of the phone's initial release, Samsung issued a recall of the Galaxy Note 7 but had communication issues. By saying so, Samsung failed to communicate with the Consumer Product Safety Commission, which caused delays in the replacement process. Retailers were not well informed on the replacement procedures and had to deal with angry customers demanding phones they could not provide. Within the recall, consumers were advised that the cause of the burning phones was due to the battery, but did not suggest customers to power their phones down until later in the recall process. On another note, the working conditions and health benefits had many cost issues due to Samsung. The Labor Ministry of Brazil filed a lawsuit against Samsung over poor working conditions of the workers in its factory located in Manaus. The South Korean giant is reported to be making its employees work too hard. The employees sometimes have to stand for over 10 hours and 15 hours long shifts. This is a serious violation of the labor laws of Brazil. More than 2,000 workers have said to have suffered from health problems in the year 2012. The plant in Manaus employs more than 6,000 people. The prosecution mentions that a factory worker has only 32 seconds to fully assemble a mobile phone and 65 seconds to assemble a TV. An employee whose task is to pack phones is reported to be packing about 3,000 phones a day. And before this incident, Samsung was previously prosecuted by Brazil in the year of 2011 for poor working conditions in its factories. Although the issue was settled by Samsung paying a settlement of about $200,000. The company has also faced lawsuits in South Korea by workers who allegedly face health problems working in its factories. Samsung is also accused of hiring children in its factories in China. Now, on a final note, Samsung has been caught paying false praise and negative comments about competitors. Samsung has been fined $340,000 by Taiwan's Fair Trade Commission for paying individuals to post fake negative reviews about HTC devices around the web. The commission began investigating the smear campaign in April of 2013, after the Taiwan Samsung Lax.org posted and claimed that internal documents outlining the scam of Samsung subsidiary in Taiwan. However, admitted that they were hiring students to post fake benchmark reviews of HTC's latest smartphone and reporting falsely that they were constantly crashing. At the time, Samsung posted on its Facebook page to apologize for any inconvenience and confusion, and that Samsung Taiwan has halted all marketing such as posting articles and website. Now that I introduced you to the unethical behaviors of Samsung, my friend Matthew will elaborate on what Samsung can do to fix these issues.
So, like my partner said, Samsung has done many unethical things in their business. They seem to be a very poorly ran company, in my opinion, but they have phones that are exploding, they steal ideas, they do lots of unethical things, and they don't treat their employees well either. But first I'm going to talk about how they have the solutions to the problems that they create, because when you create as much problems as Samsung does, you have to come up with a solution to solve these problems so that they can still make money and they can stay intact as a business. So the first part I'm going to talk about is when they stole ideas from Apple. They stole a lot of the Apple iPhone's concepts and different ideas that went with it, and their solution for that was to claim that they didn't make as much money from it as Apple was saying they did. So Apple was suing them for $379 million because they claimed that they stole the ideas and they made that much money off of their ideas, and Samsung's solution was to say, no, we only made $52 million off of your ideas, and so we're not going to pay you that much. And they ended up not having to pay as much, which is a very good solution because it worked out for them. They still ended up making a big profit, and they just got away with it basically. So when they also had the Galaxy Note 7 scandal, when the phones were exploding when they would go on airplanes and whatnot. So after the exploding phone scandal, Samsung recalled 2.5 million of the phones, and they also offered a new and improved phone to customers who had bought the Galaxy Note 7, because obviously nobody wants to have a phone that's going to explode on them, because that's kind of scary, kind of sketchy. Another time they had employees who didn't like the working conditions that they had. They were unhealthy, they weren't fit, they had a lot of heart risks and health deficiencies around their company. So this is actually a very good thing that Samsung did. They built a gym on site at some of their sites so that people could work out, stay fit, stay in shape, and keep their heart rates up. And it also helps improve how you go about your work on the day, because you have motivation after you've done a workout, or you have motivation because you have a workout that's going on later. But they also improved their working conditions after in China, because they had excessive overtime fines multiple times, and then the executive said they had to improve the working conditions over there in China.
Thanks, Matthew, for those great solutions on how to fix the problems that Samsung has and had. My name is Casey Hargis, and I will be comparing Samsung services to Apple services. First of all, Apple is already and has been putting more and more emphasis on the fundamental human rights throughout their company. The online magazine Make a Contribution, with the article entitled "Is Apple Cleaning Up Its Act on Labor Rights?" explains this in further detail. As it states, we are seeing some positive signs in China, such as an increase in minimum wage. Being that almost, if not all tech companies export their labor to China, Apple is focused on giving their employees overseas the best wage possible. As they further state, respect and protection for fundamental human rights is absolutely important. As me and my family can contest for this through our personal experiences with Apple. Now, when I first got my iPhone 7, I got it from a used vendor. So I did not realize until later that it did not come with headphones that had the specific headphone jack for the new iPhone 7, where it goes into the charging cord, like the charging port, actually, excuse me. So when I was at the Apple store and I told my technician that I was with that I actually did not have these specific headphones, he made it a point to go grab these brand new headphones from the back and gave me in the box, all brand new. I was very pleased. I did not expect that whatsoever from them. And it just doesn't compare to Samsung in that aspect, being that Apple puts their customers first, but always makes sure their employees are treated and paid well, especially because they're so educated and worthy. In addition, my dad has also had multiple experiences with Apple as well. Being that he was one of the crew members on the constructing team when they were constructing the new Apple building in Cupertino, California, he has had many experiences with Apple. He installed not only fireproof doors, but the most elaborate, over $5,000 espresso machines around every bend of this 1 mile long stretch circular building. Apple would actually also allow the construction workers to use this espresso machine, which I thought was very thoughtful of them to actually let them use this espresso machines, because my father was one of many who would work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week on this building, on this huge job for Apple. Very very top secret and very, like, you can't talk about it. You can't take pictures of what's inside. So as soon as the building finished, he would tell me like how well Apple was treating them and whatnot. So they got these, they had unlimited espresso, so they could stay up and they could stay focused within their job, just like they are having the Apple workers do now, using these new espresso machines that they have. Apple would also provide food trucks for lunch for my dad and his coworkers when they needed it every single day. There would be an abundance of swag as well, also given out per weekly, just because, and to keep morale up and keep people, feeling good about themselves, and having like all this nice technology, this nice dry fit hat that he has. He loves the hat. I think it's just it's so nice that they just provide all these things for them as well. They are also listed, they being Apple, is also listed in the Wall Street Journal's list of top 50 companies within the United States to work, being number 44 when Samsung is not listed at all. And thank you for tuning in to Aces TV on this controversial topic. We'll see you next time. I'm Casey Hargis, and this is Aces TV.